Today we're going to be taking a look behind the DM screen as I'm going to showcase some of the virtual tools that I use in my games. So sit back and get ready to learn some tricks of the trade here on Rolling with Advantage. When discussing virtual tools for D&D, the one that everyone should be using is Donjon. Donjon is an incredible website resource that I use a ton that has a lot of random generators, but it's so much more than just random generators because it also random generates content and inspiration for your games. You know, let's say that somebody wants to go to the town and say, hey, it's a small city. What's the armor shop here have? Well, I can go in here, click on D&D 5th edition, click on Magic Shop Generator, use a couple of drop downs, and all of a sudden within seconds, not only do I have the location, I have a description of the building, I have the shopkeeper, a little bit of backstory for the shopkeeper, and what he has in stock. Now, it doesn't have prices. There's a lot of online price guides that you can find, or you can just kind of, you know, however the economy is in your game. I find it varies differently from table to table, but this at least gives you some inspiration on what they may have in stock. And I love how much variety that you get in your items as well. The other thing that I like to do here is, you know, hey, they're going to go check out the tavern. Well, click on tavern and here. The cool thing about this is not only do I get the tavern, I also get the innkeeper. Again, we get some background. We get the menu, which I always love to throw the flavor of the menu in there. You know, maybe, you know, the boiled mutton isn't really mutton. Maybe it's something different, you know, just flavor it to the area. But I love to have this type of spice for my game. It also gives me the patrons. It tells me, I mean, I've got story hooks and quest hooks here. I've got rumors. Now, I may not use all of this, but it's great inspiration that I can pull from in a game. And I've had a lot of games just completely go off in different directions because of these little Easter eggs that we throw in there. So I love this type of content to be able to save. So what I'll do a lot of times is if I know my group is going to a new town, I'll go ahead and randomly generate a lot of this content, and then I'll save it either on my phone or on my iPad or whatever, so that way I've got quick access to it. Even though the site is crazy fast, I like just to be able to have it ready to go. So this site's great. I mean, I could spend a whole video just talking about this site in particular because it's got an initiative tracker, it's got monster, it's got dungeon generators. There's so much good content here, and I like how it separates it between the different editions of D&D as well. Huge fan of this website. I'll definitely put a link of all of this in the description below, but this is definitely a website that you should be using. The next one I want to take a look at is Inkarnate. Now, Inkarnate is it's free website that you can go generate maps. It's incredibly easy to use. There is a free version. There's also a paid version that's a lot more in depth, but just the free version, I made this map in just a few minutes of, you know, a little village I come across. You know, there's some ruins to the left, to run down to the right. There's a stream. I made this whole thing in just a few minutes, and to be able to pull this, save it, and put it up on our Discord super fast was awesome. Just to be able to say, okay, now we know the lay of the land. I love having this type of generator at my disposal as well. The other thing that I like to use, I'm a big fan of visual aids. So let's say I want to find a fantasy library. I'll do a Google image search for fantasy library, and all of a sudden look at all these great images. This is the one I decided to use in the front part of my video. I just kind of go through here and just see what I like. I also might go through Pinterest, and I'm just looking for inspiration. I'm looking for something to say, hey, I like this. Maybe I'm not going to use it now. I'm going to use it later. If that's the case, then what I'll do is I have an entire image gallery that I keep on my computer that is for either this game or next game or maybe next campaign. I just keep ideas. Here's a kobold that I came across. I wrote a whole game story about these blue kobolds and how they were different. Here's a druid NPC, you know, different maps. You know, here's an idea for Warforged I came across. You know, some of this stuff you'll spot from older games, but this is just kind of my inspiration treasure trove that I pull up. Here's Shandax, the Bronze Dragon. I found this and like a month later put it in the game. I just love the art and the image. just all types of cool stuff that we pull together. So this is one of the major tools that I use. Now, how I pull all of this together is all of my games has a Discord component. So what I'll do is we'll create a Discord channel, have all the players come into Discord, and then I'll actually have different channels to show here's the maps, here's the locations. I'll go through and, here's persons of note, people that you should know in this game, important NPCs. Here's Shandex the Bronze Dragon again. Here's Tobias. Here's, Umrar. Here's all the different people that they've met in their journeys. And I feel that when I give my players the image, they really have a point of reference. They go, oh, I remember that person. I remember that experience. So I have this kind of growing Discord channel that we use for all the different things. I also will let my players come in and just tell me what their character looks like, give them their player portraits, locations, encounters. After they face something, I'll come up and put an image on here, or maybe I'll even have this saved on my iPad and scroll through the images as we go. The idea behind this is that to give them a visual reference of what they're facing. I really like this, and it helps spark imagination. Here's our goblin pirate that I found. I love this image. I said, hey, we've got to put this in a game. So this is kind of how I run my visual aids in a game on the virtual space. Another big thing I tell people is look at video games out there. A lot of times you can pull content from video games that are incredible. Here's one that I've been using recently that I love. I'm a big fan of Elder Scrolls, and on Elder Scrolls Online you can find treasure maps. Well, here's a website that I found that actually has the treasure maps from the video game. And look at this. You can actually pull up the treasure map. You can save this, print this. I mean, handing this to your player just sparks this imagination adventure, and it's like, I don't know what this is or where this is, but we've got to find this. I've had an entire adventure just spawn off of a map like this. Handing players something like this really gets their buy-in, and I just love seeing the expression of excitement when they get something that they don't expect. So this is something else. I'll include a link in the description below, but these are some of my virtual tools. Donjon, Incarnate, these are huge. I keep a library together of all of my images, and then I like to pull up different maps and different images from different things. This is how I run my games. This is my virtual toolkit. So I would love to know what type of virtual toolkit that you have in your back pocket. Is there some websites that you like or map makers that you prefer? Anything that you use out there, let's build a community. Let's share and kind of show what each other use. I also love Reddit. A lot of times I'll go onto Reddit and I see someone's commissioned a character portrait for their character, and I'm like, wow, that's a cool NPC. I'm gonna have to use that for something later down the road. I think this was actually a character portrait that I found on Reddit. So a lot of times we just like to go through and we're just looking for inspiration. So what have you found? What content out there do you like? Have you used a website like Donjon? Do you have certain map makers that you like? Just let me know what you use, and let's get an open discussion. If you like this content, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And as always, keep rolling with advantage. Thanks.